Hello everybody, welcome back to another video today. And today we'll be taking a look at the nor'easter that's going to affect the whole entire mid-Atlantic and even into some parts of the Northeast this Sunday. And it just so happens to be Super Bowl Sunday. But before we get into the East, let's take a look at parts of the Midwest and Pacific. Right now you have winter storm watches and advisories and warnings in parts of Montana and Wyoming and Idaho here. This is a storm that's going to drop down from the Pacific and go straight off the coast and affect the Northeast this Sunday. Now, just to the east of that, you have wind chill warnings and advisories from this Arctic vortex that's going to come down and affect the whole United States here. The only place that will be above average temperatures is probably back by California. Now, just south of that, we have also another patch of winter storm advisories and warnings that is also going to be affected by this storm that's going to affect the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. You have some winter storm advisories up in Michigan for lake effect, and you also have winter storm watches for also, once again, lake effect snow. Now, we make our way into the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. These are just freshly issued watches that stretch all the way up into the Cape, all the way down into northern parts of Georgia here. This storm is going to form in the Gulf, which is called a Miller A nor'easter, and it's going to go up the coast. The other day, we were thinking this storm could go well out to sea and nobody would be affected, but since then, this storm has made a remarkable northwest trend that nobody has expected, and now could give some cities in parts of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast several inches of snow. If we take a look at the GFS, you can see that you have your cold front that is just passing by in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic that brought some snow showers and rain throughout the area, and there was nothing severe about this. This was just a few inches of snow at most, and what this is going to create is a cold front is going to stall in the south, and it's going to allow a low pressure system to form, and then eventually ride this cold front and go straight up into the Northeast, and in a moment you'll see how this happens. You have an energy dropping down into parts of the Midwest, and it's going to combine with the low pressure system that is going to form in the Gulf of Mexico here. These two are going to combine and create a system that eventually, which is going to be called a Miller A nor'easter, is going to go up the coast here. As we continue moving on with the GFS, you can see the storm starts to intensify and move off the coast. You can see by 7 a.m. the storm, its northern extent of the snow is just reaching about Connecticut and is getting its way into parts of Rhode Island. By 1 p.m., this storm is already halfway done. This is going to be a quick moving system, and it's going to be nothing like last week's system, and it's not going to stall out. It's going to be continuation, and it's never going to stop. But notice, this storm is almost right near the benchmark that we call it, the 4070 benchmark. You may ask, what is that? The 4070 benchmark is the perfect position to give coastal parts of the I-95, such as Boston, the Cape, Long Island, New York City, Philadelphia, and all the way down into DC and Baltimore, even into southern parts of New Jersey, heavy snow. Now the question is, will this storm continue moving out and not strengthen at all, or will it strengthen but continue to move along? As of right now, it looks like all the models have been trending more and more northwestward and more stronger. What this means, you have heavier snow in coastal areas such as Long Island, New Jersey, Delaware, and all the way back into Washington, D.C., and Baltimore. This looks like to be your sweet spot for the heaviest snow. If you continue with the GFS, by 7 p.m. it should be done with all the snow on Long Island. Just maybe the outer fork should be getting a little bit of flakes, but this should be pretty much done, at least for the Mid-Atlantic. But the Northeast, such as Boston, Plymouth, and parts of Rhode Island and eastern Connecticut and Maine, you are still in this, not as the heaviest has moved offshore, but you are still snowing. And by, let's say, 1 a.m., it's only Maine that's going to be flaking. And after this is going to create another storm that could form, and then after that, there could be another system. With this active pattern in the Arctic vortex, which is right here, shown by the GFS, look how far this cold front goes. This is going to pivot all the way around the whole 2/3 about the U.S. And once again, there could be another low pressure system that forms on this boundary. Could it affect the whole South, or could it affect the whole 2/3 of the U.S.? This is still way too early to tell, but this is always a possibility when you get these Arctic fronts. If you take a look at the NAM here, you could see that you have your cold front once again offshore and is going to stall. If we continue with the NAM here, as we continue up until, let's say, 9 a.m. Saturday, you can see that your low pressure system is starting to drop down, and you also have your other low pressure system forming in the Gulf. These two will once again eventually combine in this area. It's too early to tell exactly where, but we should know very soon. It looks like to combine in that area, causing a major storm to form. Now, if once this does happen, the NAM wants to suggest the heavier snow totals. The GFS and Euro want to show the lighter totals, like let's say if you're in the 4 to 8 range, they want to suggest 4, but the NAM wants to suggest 8, even pockets of 13 inches, believe it or not. By 7 a.m., the northern extent of this is in central Connecticut and central, let's say, Rhode Island, making its way more north as this system progresses. And by, let's say, 11 a.m., you have your heaviest bands over Connecticut, Long Island, and New Jersey, and the system is about 37.7 and 44.4. Keep this in mind as we make throughout the day. You have your rain and snow line off of Long Island. The forks are all snow in this, and your rain and snow line is starting to fall back southwards as you have that counterclockwise spin. By 4 p.m., the NAM wants to have the low pressure system almost in the 40-70 benchmark. It is at 40.4 and 69.2. Even if it's not directly in the sweet spot, if it's just right around that area, it is still works the same as if it was going through. By 7 p.m., it's all done on Long Island. It's a little bit more quicker than the GFS, but you still have your heavy snow just on the Cape, and it looks just to be offshore Boston and Massachusetts. And by 12 o'clock, it's just barely snowing, and by definitely 7 a.m., it should be all done. Unless you are on the lakes getting some snow from lake effect on the counterclockwise spin from the system, but otherwise you should be all done. And then we watch Tuesday as another system could possibly form. It all depends where the track goes. Will form here or here. If it's the southern solution, once again the coast will be affected, but if it's up here, it looks like Albany, Syracuse, and parts of Bangor, Maine will get into this storm, unlike the one that we're having over the weekend. If we take a look at the European here, the storm has also been trending more northwest as this system has been getting closer and closer on the Euro, and back by 6 a.m. here, you can see that the storm is on the northern extent here, is just on Long Island, and by 1 o'clock, the heaviest is over Long Island and just getting into Connecticut and Rhode Island, and now by 6 o'clock, it is pretty much all done. It's a little bit faster than the NAM and the GFS here, and if we get a close-up on this, on the total snowfall, you can see it's on the lower end of the totals. You see, there is a wide spread of 3 inches that stretch all the way up into the most extreme northeastern part of Maine, all the way back down into West Virginia, Kentucky, and loops all the way back around. Excuse me. But your 5-inch line is just south of Boston on Outer Forks and back over Nantucket and Plymouth and all those other places there that I have circled. And you also have another range of 5+ in New Jersey, Delaware, and parts of Maryland, just off the eastern parts of Washington, and maybe just clipping Baltimore. This is my snowfall map for as of now. I have not included Washington in this because this could go either way for Washington, I believe. You are right on the rain and snow line, and by tomorrow we will get a better look at this, and by then I will include you. But if you have any questions, if you are in Maryland, West Virginia, Delaware, New Jersey, and I haven't included you, feel free to ask in the comments and I will quickly respond to you. But anywhere that's light blues according to an inch that stretch all the way up into northern parts of Maine, into extreme central and parts of western PA. You have a 1 to 3 inch range that could go as far west as central New York to as far north as Maine. This 3 to 5 inch line from purple extends just north of Boston, all the way down into Wilmington, PA, and all the way into Philadelphia. But Philadelphia on this map is included on the 6 to 8 plus range. I included that plus because if the NAM is correct, you'll end up with 8 to 12 inches, pockets of 13. But if the Euro is correct, you have 5, 6, maybe 7, 8 inches at most on the European. And the GFS is a mix of the two. Depending on the track of the low pressure system, as of right now, it looks to just pass through or near the 40-70 benchmark. Remember, that's the sweet spot for snow along Boston, Long Island, and along the coast here, and into back parts of Philadelphia. But as of now, it looks to be just right through the 40-70 benchmark. And before I forget, on the coast of New Jersey, sorry about that pop-up, on the coast of New Jersey, it wants to be 1 to 3 inches at first. It'll be all snow, then it will change over the rain because you are too close to the low pressure system. As you can see, you are right just north of that low pressure system, but it's going to funnel warmer air off the coast, and you will get involved into that mix. I hope everybody has a good day. There will be more videos upcoming as we get closer to Sunday, but have a great day.